It is declared that the Electoral Act 73 of 1998 is unconstitutional to the extent that it requires that adult citizens may be elected to the National Assembly and provincial legislatures only through their membership of political parties. 5. The declaration of unconstitutionality is prospective with effect from the date of this order, but its operation is suspended for 24 months to afford Parliament an opportunity to remedy the defect.
One SA movement says it hopes Parliament will not miss the Constitutional Court deadline.
As the Parliament responded to us is that they can't yet be in contempt of court given that they've still got till June next year. Our response to them has been straightforward, that we know practically how long it takes to pass a bill. You do not have the time. Publish then the current draft submission we have made under Honourable Member Lekota that can ensure that it goes for public comment, and that must be the bill that must get debated. And so we are awaiting response on that issue so that ultimately the citizens can know what options they've got before them.
Parliament says it takes the Constitutional Court deadline seriously, but should be allowed to do its work.
Parliament needs to be given time, it needs to be given an opportunity and space to conduct its business. Particularly Mr. Maimane, he is a former parliamentarian, he knows how things are done. So that kind of anxiety or apprehension is really without foundation, because Parliament and the committee in particular on Home Affairs working very hard to ensure that we comply with the judgment of the court. We ensure that we comply with the deadline that has been given to Parliament with regard to this legislation. And there is a work in the committee that is going ahead.
The National Legislature says multiple bills aimed at amending the Electoral Act are in the pipeline.
There is a private member's bill that has been tabled before the committee. There is another draft of the legislation that we are expecting from the Department of Home Affairs. So once all these matters are before the committee will consider all these drafts, and out of those drafts ensure that a development of an appropriate amendment to the legislation is made.
Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motsoaledi briefed the Home Affairs Portfolio Committee this week on some of the developments around electoral amendments.
Now, the minimalist option which I've spoken about, which we said is the one on which the bill is based. The minimalist option entails modifying the existing multi-member electoral system to accommodate independent candidates in the national and provincial election without many changes in the legislation, including and not interfering with the constitutionality required general proportionality. Now, how are we going to do that? In other words, if we choose this minimalist option as we have done, how then do we implement it? How do we make sure that independents do participate in election, but without interfering with proportionality?
Parliament has over 6 months left to amend the Act to give effect to the Constitutional Court ruling. Mercedes Besant, SABC News, Parliament.
The ANC in the Matikama municipality says that it's